So we decided that we needed to go virtual like everybody. Everyone needed to basically be at home and not in the office. And we did that on March 11th.
In 2014, my wife got a Fulbright scholarship to study the Irish game industry. So we came to Ireland and spent 3 months speaking to everyone that we needed to talk to, from government officials to universities to game developers, development companies and indie gamers, to kind of get a picture of what the entire ecosystem was about, and what it was like. So when we left Ireland at that point, we decided that we want to actually live there, because the industry was exciting and it kind of felt like the early 80s in the game industry, where everybody's just working together to make really fun stuff. We felt a lot of community when we were here, and people were just unbelievably nice in Ireland. And then my wife had to write up a 50-page report for the government of Ireland, so they could, go over it and figure out what can they do to improve the industry. Like the UK has a lot of support for the game industry, and in Ireland didn't. So she did that. Now Ireland is finally helping to support the game industry more. So that's great. When we left, we decided that the kids, this is the best place to raise kids. It's like extremely great community. People are very nice, very just very different, and we really liked it. There's no guns here.
So we decided that we needed to go virtual like everybody. Everyone needed to basically be at home and not in the office. And we did that on March 11th. But yeah, we had to go virtual. There's a lot of deliveries of hardware to people's houses in the early days of the coronavirus. So I had to deliver chairs and computers and monitors and all kinds of stuff to make sure everybody had what they needed at home, and then order hardware to their houses and all that kind of stuff. Street Fighter 2 and Pac-Man. I think they've been doing an outstanding job keeping the franchises alive, making such hardcore shooters like Doom Eternal is amazing, considering the games that are out there. That this company's been around for 30 years and can still create the most intense FPS action in the industry is a huge achievement. Yeah, I really like the way that shooters have been used in esports, and they've been getting more and more features over the years, with lots of spectator cams, and just, really, commentators are amazing during the matches. I've just always been really happy with the community support around it. The games that are chosen don't really get support from the companies that made those games, so modders are able to actually modify the games, or to basically present the game in a way that's more optimal for esports viewing. And it's great to see that there's so much support around esports. Well, actually, the art is the biggest change. There's not that much of a change in the code itself, but really the art is where a lot of the added time is spent. It takes a lot longer to do all the phases of production on a piece of 3D art than a 2D piece of art, which is usually way easier. 3D just there's so much more complexity in 3D, and it takes several people to make one character, come to life in the game, versus 2D, which is maybe one or two people. So I can't talk about Black Room.
Oh,
Well, for one, this was my wife's game design, and she's wanted to make this game for probably about 20 years. And she's been fascinated with the Prohibition era for most of her life since she was a little kid, because the town that she grew up in was like it was affected by the Prohibition in certain ways, like alcohol was smuggled in from Canada. There was a bar that never shut down, even the police wouldn't shut it down. So it's the longest standing, non-closed bar in the United States. Just little things like that. And her parents didn't want to talk about like why the bar didn't get shut down during Prohibition. And so it was just fascinating. And she just wanted to make a game about that era. And when people think about the era, you think about the larger than life gangsters that were in that era. And why wouldn't you make a game with those people of that era? I mean, that's like if you tried to make a 1920s Prohibition era game and didn't have Al Capone in it, people would laugh at you. Need to cover those people, and we wanted to also take people that were that had existed and that were doing the same thing, but maybe in other locations like New York or Mexico, and bring them to Chicago. And give them a backstory, like they're coming to Chicago because this is where it's happening, But our publisher, Paradox Interactive, does make a lot of historical strategy games. So this fit in really well with the way that they design their stuff. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.